Hey guys, Sophia here with Turquoise Toffee, and I'm back with another video. Today, we're talking about the 2023 IFBB Pro League Singapore Orchid Pro Bikini and Figure results. This is the first figure show of 2023. It's so exciting, and of course, bikini is always incredible to watch. So let's get right to it. Now, in terms of the Olympia qualification system, there's no more tiered. So the contests are all weighed the same. The top three from last year's Olympia qualify, and then the winner of this show in each of these divisions will qualify. That's it. No more points. Oh, it's crazy, but also very exciting. So let's look at the top 5 pro figure first. In first place, Boyana. Second, Stacy. Third, Jenny Lynn. Fourth, Sherilyn. And fifth, Gia. So here's Gia in 5th place. Fabulous shape. My gosh, the first thing I noticed was her conditioning. You've got a lot of detail coming through in her quads, crazy amount of lines in there. I think compared to the other girls, she might have almost been a hair too lean. Just a little bit more fullness and roundness would have been even better, but I certainly love it. I love seeing all that detail. I think she has beautiful round delts, a really nice small waist. You really notice how her waist comes in from the V-taper and then right back out by her hips. Just gorgeous. I think she could have a little bit more fullness and roundness to the lower part of her legs, her calves here. There's kind of a lot of space. You definitely want some space, but not too much space. And I'm very impressed that she doesn't even have her heels together, and yet her legs are very in contact with each other. So she's got a beautiful amount of size. Gorgeous suit. I love that the white lines really draw your eyes up and out, so you notice the V-taper. I think she could have had a little bit more roundness in the quads. You'll see it when we switch to our next competitor, I think, just in comparison. But overall, I was super impressed. I think she looks beautiful. Last point, even though I find her to be very lean, I wish I could see a little bit more of the 6-pack abs, just a bit more definition in the stomach. That's it. Amazing. Okay, Sherilyn in 4th place, gorgeous. So this is what I mean about a little bit more roundness. I really noticed the curves in the sweep of her quads. I noticed the curves and fullness in her shoulders. Her lats are really curvy. She's just got this beautiful fullness, and yet she still has nice conditioning. So you've got detail in the legs. You've got the beautiful 6-pack showing through. So she did a really good job balancing out the fullness with the detail. I did notice from a posing perspective, for some reason I'm noticing this delt more than this one. Whether it's just because the hair is a little bit covering this one more, or maybe her arm is a little bit wider. But to me, this delt looks higher and fuller than this one. So tiny little posing tweak there. I think her legs are absolutely beautiful. I really love the curves. I love how much size she has on her inner thighs. Beautiful. It's also a really nice suit, great colors. She looks really beautiful. I do think she could have had a slightly darker color to her makeup on her face just to kind of match the tan a little bit better. But overall, I thought she was gorgeous. Okay, Jenny Lynn in 3rd, spectacular, really small waist and a lot of detail in her abs. I love that. You really notice that detail there, super lean, nice small waist, so you notice the V-taper. She's got gorgeous round quads with lots of detail, like you really see the outline of these teardrops by her kneecaps. Really gorgeous. I do think that she could have more upper body to compare to the lower body. Even though she has a beautiful V-taper, I do find that the shoulders could be a little bit fuller, a little bit bigger, a little bit rounder to really draw your eye to the width up top and then come in to that tiny waist. But I think she's got beautiful shape, great conditioning, and that suit is killer. I love the ombre colors. And again, I love how the lines draw your eyes from the middle and pull you up and out, so you really notice that V-taper. I think she looks spectacular. Beautiful posing, absolutely gorgeous. All right, next in second place is Stacy, and wow, you really notice how much muscle she has. Super big legs, really full, really round, matched nicely by these really large delts. Her shoulders are just massive, big lats. She just looks tall and brawny. Absolutely gorgeous. I do wish that there was a little bit more space somehow, I don't know how, so that we could see her calves a little bit better, just so that they weren't pressing against each other. Though I love how much her legs are just so full that there is no space whatsoever. I think she's got a beautiful V-taper, really nice conditioning. You've got the detail coming through in her abs, lots of detail in her legs, and just overall, she looks really spectacular. I like the poof to her hair. I think it adds a bit of volume, even more height. It just fills out her whole upper body. I think she looks spectacular. Posing, maybe this arm is a little bit wider than this one, just there's a little bit more space here, but I mean, it's just a photo. She could have adjusted 1 second later. Overall, I think she looks really fantastic. Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful suit, beautiful hair. Amazing. Okay, but here's Boyana in first place. And you can't help but notice how beautifully proportionate she is. You're not overly drawn to any particular body part. Her legs are not overpowering her shoulders. Her V-taper is not overpowering her arms. Just everything is in a perfect balance. You also see all of her muscles beautifully. The hands are perfectly level. The shoulders are totally straight. You see both of the lats beautifully flared, tiny waist. You got a nice view of her curve to the sweep. You see that beautiful fullness on the inside of her legs. You get to see both of her calf muscles, right? They're not pressed against each other. The silhouette from the floor all the way up is just absolutely gorgeous. A beautiful V-taper, tiny waist. She's so spectacular. I think her conditioning is perfect. It's not too much. You've got detail in the legs. You've got those beautiful lines going all the way up her hips. You've got abs. You have that nice outlining of her delts. She just nailed it. I love how small and dainty the straps are on her suit. They come up really high on her hips, so it just makes her waist look absolutely tiny. The color is beautiful. It looks so good with the background. Coordinated jewelry. She's just spectacular. But again, what really catches my eye is the balance in her proportions, and just your eye sees her and just flows right over all of her body parts, and I think she's absolutely amazing. Okay, so here's the side by side. I think you'll agree with me about Boyana. She just has this beautiful presence, really gorgeous overall shape. Maybe you'll agree that our fifth place winner could have had a little less of the conditioning. She's got so much detail popping through that none of the other ladies have. And I wonder if that was maybe too much for this particular show. I think our third place winner, you can see, needs just a little bit more width to the delts, a little bit more size up top, but beautiful tiny stomach on all of these competitors. Stacy, I'm really noticing her legs. Whereas when I look at Boyana, like I said before, it's just a little bit more of a smooth, overall proportionate look. Sherilyn, gorgeous. Now I'm noticing this shoulder looks a little more full and round than this shoulder, but she has really nice, full, round quads. I'm super impressed by everybody in this lineup. I think it's a very diverse group of women, but they all look beautiful in their own ways and gorgeous V-tapers. Now from behind, Boyana looks spectacular. You really notice her small waist. You've got a lot of detail in her back, and you have very nice size in her glutes compared to the upper body. I think Stacy could even have more glute compared to the size of her quads. Same with Sherilyn, honestly. I think she could have a little bit more to really balance out with the very wide spread she has in her back. I feel like Gia, again, has a little bit more conditioning than you notice in the other ladies. She's got that extra groove coming through on her glutes, but beautiful detail in the back of her legs. I love that. And I think Jenny Lynn has a really nice V-taper from behind. You really notice how small her waist is. But again, I think Bojana just kind of hit all of the nails on the head. She's got gorgeous conditioning, great shape, and really nice proportions. She's got fullness and roundness in her glutes, nice curves in her legs, without being overly dominated by one particular body part. So, fantastic. Okay, so in terms of Olympia, Bojana is qualified. So exciting. Okay, let's move on to bikini, and this scorecard is crazy. So in first place was Alessia, and then second and third was a tie. So 7 points for both of these athletes, incredible. Second ended up going to Eureka, and then third, Nitea. Wow. Fourth place was Shanae, and fifth, Karen. So exciting. A very close race. So here's Karen in fifth. We just saw her last weekend at the Japan Pro. I think she looks even better. Her conditioning really came through. You notice the line coming down her leg here, this groove in her glute. You notice a little bit more detail in that back leg. I just think she looks a little tighter, a little stronger. You see this calf muscle really gorgeously outlined. Beautiful. However, I think her shoulder looked nicer here at Japan. It just looked a little more round and full, whereas here it looks a little bit more straight. It could just be the way that her hand is in this picture. Right here, she's got the elbow rotated, whereas here her palm is facing more in. So that's like the only thing I'm noticing. I think she looks absolutely spectacular. Nice small waist, beautiful lats, great upper body. Gorgeous. Okay, next in fourth is Shanae. She also just got fourth at the Japan Pro last weekend. So exciting. She has an amazing hourglass shape, extremely small waist. Her glutes are super high, really large. I love the detail that she has here, this groove in her hip. Nice line coming down, a little bit of that detail down by her kneecaps. I think she does have to be careful with the conditioning that she's not too muscular looking, right? Like she's got a bit of vascularity that you notice. Her delts are really outlined. You have to be careful in bikini. It's such a fine line between too much detail and too much fullness. So that's just the only thing I can think of. Perhaps she had just a tiny bit too much of that hardness, because to me she looks so athletic, extremely muscular, really tight. I love it. You guys know me, I love conditioning. I love getting to see all of those lines and those details, but that's just my idea of perhaps why she was in fourth place. I think she has beautiful posing. I really like how you get to see this shoulder in this picture. Her hair was covering it more at the Japan show, and I just think she looks absolutely gorgeous here. So overall, as usual, she's phenomenal, super tall, long legs, long arms, gorgeous. Okay, next is Nitea in third place. So she is still very conditioned, extremely small, flat stomach, lots of ab detail, crazy obliques, but her legs have more softness than what we saw from our fourth place winner, right? You're not seeing vascularity in the legs. You're not seeing like super deep lines. She just has a little bit more of that roundness and fullness, which I think is what they like a little bit more in bikini. I like the fit of her suit. I don't know if it's the same suit and she just pulled it down a little lower than at the Japan Pro, but I think it looks really spectacular here. Fits her perfectly, very flattering. She's got a nice amount of detail coming through in her arms. I do wish that I could see this back shoulder a little bit more, but it's just a photo, right? She could have moved her hair in the very next moment. I'm always impressed by how flat her stomach is. She's got really nice posing that shows off that beautiful curve in her leg, and she's got really nice round hamstrings. You notice the fullness in them here as well. So I think she's spectacular. She looks beautiful, already qualified for Olympia, and she's doing fantastic. Okay, so here's Eureka. Same score, amazing. She ended up in second place, so beautiful. She looks fabulous. Really nice roundness in her shoulders. She's got this gorgeous fullness up top, like very wide. Beautiful curve in her back, tiny waist, and then a nice balance between the size of her glute and the size of her upper body. I think you really notice that hourglass shape with her. She's got gorgeous conditioning where you've got the groove in the glute, the line coming down the quad, nice curvy hamstring, curvy calves, but not too much detail coming through. So you've got abs, you've got that little bit of the delt outline, but she's not overly detailed. So I think she did a really great job there. Beautiful posing. I do notice she poses just a slightly differently than the other girls. There's somehow maybe a little more space or between her feet, or I just notice more of this back leg with her. Maybe you'll agree with me in the lineup photo, but I think she looks fantastic. I love how twisted she is and how squared off her shoulders are to the front. I think she looks beautiful. And now in first place is Alessia. Gorgeous as always, super exciting that she's already qualified for Olympia. She looks tall, she looks long, she looks very lean, very a lot of detail in her stomach, beautiful shape to her legs. In the lineup photo in particular, I really noticed the detail of her quad. She poses a little bit more at an angle. She doesn't square off her shoulders to the front of the room as much as the other girls, but it works for her. It really shows off her hourglass shape. I do find compared to the other ladies, Alessia has a little bit more of a slenderness to her legs. I'm sure that's a function of being so tall and long limbs, but she definitely has that overall beautiful shape, and she's posing very nicely. I noticed that her fingers are always open. I'm not sure if that's just an Alessia thing or if it was just at this show or if it's just the photos that I looked at, but just a little different than the other girls. But overall, gorgeous as always. Okay, so here is everybody side by side. You can see the difference in the way that the girls hold their feet. Shanae is really up on her toe. I think you see a lot of that beautiful muscle in her back leg. As you can see what I mean about Alessia has a little bit more of a slender look to that leg in the back compared to the other girls. But man, what a beautiful line of conditioning coming down her quad in the front. Karen looks super curvy, nice muscles in her legs. I can totally see why Yurika and Natea were so close in score. They look really comparable. Beautiful detail in the legs, gorgeous tiny waist, and just really nice hourglass shapes overall. Beautiful arms. Shanae stands out to me because of her amazing delts. I think she poses beautifully. It's a great top 5. Now, from behind, holy smokes. Alessia really has sharp glute ham tie-ins. So you notice them on the outside and the inside, and they come to these perfect little teeny tiny triangles. I think Karen could have had a little bit more of that shape to really kind of pull through, if you could just see it a little bit better. Yurika and Natea, you can see it very well, that beautiful triangular shape. Shanae as well. Her glutes come very long, beautiful. Alessia, I really notice the hourglass. So I see how small her waist is and how very wide her shoulders are. Shanae as well has the very wide shoulders, very beautiful, very round, but I do think that too much of her back is showing here. I think she should have a bit more fullness to her hair, and it would help to create even more of that illusion of the hourglass shape. I think everybody looks really spectacular, but Alessia really has the conditioning. She's got those glute ham tie-ins. She's got a lot of size in her glutes, and they're a really nice balance to her shoulders, which I find are really wide. You really notice how far they come out from her arms. It's a gorgeous top 5. Everybody's fantastic, of course, and very, very exciting. Oh, yes, one last thing. I did think that perhaps Karen could stand with her feet a little closer together. She does seem a little more wide than the other girls, and I don't know that she needs to do that. Anyway, that's all I have. So Alessia is now qualified. So exciting. And of course, the Arnold is coming up this weekend. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm going to be live on Instagram. And of course, I will be back with recaps of all of the women's divisions. So make sure you come check it out. Give me a like if you like this video, comment below, subscribe, and come find me. I'm at turquoisetoffee.wordpress.com and of course on Instagram at turquoisetoffee.